Greetings, YouTube. Today we're looking at a DragonArt book, Fantasy Characters, How to Draw Fantastic Beings and Incredible Creatures, by J. Neo Dragon Pepper. I'm glad that J put their nickname in there. I have no idea what gender J is. Doesn't really matter. Now, I picked this up cheap. I liked the art. And again, I think it's never a bad way to get inspiration for either a giant GM or a character or a player for like what they want their character to do, what they want their character to look like. And even if you're not just, you know, saying, okay, this exact guy, you can still do the, okay, this hairstyle or that kind of fashion sense or, you know, that kind of thing right there. Perspective and overlap. So this is an actual instructional book. Before it gets to like the kind of cool fantasy style images, which is what really attracted me. So if you're looking for an educational book on this topic, this may be something that fills that need. I like the fact that J. Pepper did a little bit about hair. A lot of time that's ignored. Oh yes, the hands. I actually have a sketch I made in high school of my hands for an art class. I like it. It's one of the few things I ever did organically that didn't suck. They have very long toes. Things of Fairy Tale. And we go the sketches and how to come up with from, you know, very basic. This is the basic shape I want. Okay, now I get limbs proportional to the shape. You know, you really have to break that down. Then you end up with this kind of groovy looking, darker fairy. Then a bit about fairy wings, ruffles, and ribbons. Pointy ears. Sprite. And I like the fact that the sprites are less human looking. They're not just miniature people with funky wings and maybe pointy ears. They're very exotic, and I use that word in a non-racist manner because they don't look anything like a human. Here we go, some more elf-type characters, the classic wood variety. And we get into goblins. And this is a very positive, smiley goblin. This makes me think a great deal of the type of goblins that you could find in a Pathfinder game if they weren't relegated to being the bad guys. Then we get into dwarf, or dwarves. There's an argument among some people whether it should be dwarf or dwarves for plurals. Here we go, kind of a classic dwarf. Goggles for the snow. Got two axes. One looks like it's combat, the other one looks like it's more, there we go, a little more tool use. How to draw beards. Tusks. And we get into the orc. And we have the semi-naked orc warrior, battle axe in one hand, and some kind of ceremonial club or something in the other. Maybe it's a orc version of acoustic. Then we get into things of legend. And we're going to get into a mermaid right off the bat. And we're going with a very classic style of mermaid, though she is blue. I like the rays in the background. Nice touch. Then we discuss different types of fins. Then we get into hooves. I like that one right there. Then we get into the classic Centaur. I always wonder how they pick things off the ground. This must be difficult for them. They have to kneel down to do it. It can be really annoying. Then we get into a faun, which is a less sexually aggressive version of the satyr, perhaps. Interesting ears. Getting into bird wings. And this is going to be an angel. Here we go. An adorable angel that is apparently the protector of cats. That might explain why my cats have not killed themselves. Get into a kitsune. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the full-fledged 9-tailed kitsune. Different numbers of tails mean, I believe, different levels of power. Things that go bump in the night. Creatures of the night for GURPS. Incredibly good supplement. That's terrifying in some ways. Well done. Tattered garments. Bat wings. This looks like it could be almost out of an illustration for real bats. We get into vampires. He's just a little haunting. He's bloody, and there's someone lying in the bed that is potentially, oops, potentially dead. The classic werewolf, but this is in the full-fledged wolf form, so the barrel chest does not look wolf-like. Then we get into a demon. It's an academic demon. I think we've all encountered those. Then we discuss fashion. Warrior fashion. So the cloaks, weapons. The weapons are a little, like the spear is a little on the chunky side, though I will admit I've sketched things that were similar. Bows and quivers. I'm not actually taking a lot of this person's interpretation of what weapons should look like all that seriously. That's cute. The cleric. The samurai. A winged samurai. That's quite intriguing. What weapon would a winged samurai use? I mean, bows, obviously. But what would be the best melee weapon for a winged samurai? Inquiring minds want to know. And we get into nobility, getting all fancy and such. Peasants! Who just happen to be goblins, I guess. Fantasy is fantastic. A thank you. And then a nice little index. And then there's some DragonArt, other things like fantasy realms, fantasy worlds, people and poses for a little more realistic stuff. And then there is the DragonArt, how to draw fantastic dragons and fantasy creatures. I would like to get the rest of these, but I'm not just willing, not going to pay full price. I may check on Amazon secondary market and see what they're going for. But this has been DragonArt's fantasy characters, which I think is quite interesting and inspirational for both GMs and players, as well as budding artists.